And we are live for some World Junior Hockey. Yes, this should be an interesting matchup as the U.S. goes on into the gold medal game versus Team Sweden, the host nation in this tournament this year. This should be a fun game. Earlier we saw insane upset for the bronze medal game. Czech Republic, Czechia beating Finland in a surprising comeback fashion late in action with just under a minute and 50 seconds remaining in regulation time. The Czechs tied up the game and then took the lead 15 seconds later and ended up putting up two empty net goals to take the game 8-5 when they were losing 4-5 with just under 2 minutes remaining. That's insane comeback action. Now we're in action for US versus Sweden, and later on today, the Blackhawks face off against the New Jersey Devils. Sorry again, last night I did not have a review for the Blackhawks Rangers game out. I was having some technical difficulties, so I couldn't really get a video properly put together. So that was one reason why I didn't have a review out. But we'll be back tonight. Got all those situations fixed. How are you doing, Ryan? It's good to see you. Got my Chris Chelios USA hockey jersey going for today. Hopefully we see a gold medal return back to the States for the World Juniors. Sweden being the host nation, they're going to be out there to try and win gold on home ice. Our prospects have been solid this tournament. Adam Gajan was outstanding for Slovakia. For the U.S., we've had Frank Nazar, who has over 8 primary assists in this tournament. Oliver Moore got promoted to the first line and actually has been producing on the first line. Then we've seen Sam Renzel yesterday had a little bit of a rough game, but pretty much had a great tournament altogether. And Gavin Hayes started out on the first line in this tournament and then got demoted to as the final forward spot because of his major penalty that he took in the game against Slovakia. So Martin Misiak didn't have much of a turnout this tournament, but that's okay. But otherwise, the Hawks prospects in this tournament has looked really good. We're still 15 minutes away from U.S. versus Sweden, so it should be an interesting game. Just a reminder, if you're new to the channel, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, let's go Hawks. We're trying to gain more views. So if you try and share the stream. Let people know we're watching U.S. versus Sweden today. Let's see if we can actually get some rise. Blackhawk prospect score today. I hope to see that too. The U.S. is favorite. It was favorite to win the tournament all along, and the fact that they're in gold, it makes sense. They were the favorites to win the gold this entire tournament. I feel like this year, U.S. team, they put together probably their highest powered offense going into a World Junior in the probably within the last 7 years. They've been really good to watch. Hey, what's up? US, your prediction is US 4-3 for the game. Okay. I don't know. Sweden has a good defense. The US has a great offense. This could be one of those type of goalie type games. Who knows? This will be an interesting matchup to see what happens. As of yesterday, that double IHF did announce that the World Juniors in 2026 will be returning to the US, and it will be taking place in Minnesota. So that should be a fun tournament. If I can get an opportunity to go to it, I will try, because the World Juniors has always been a favorite tournament of mine, and an opportunity to actually see it in person, I will try and take it up. Wish it can go to Chicago for once. If they had a World Junior in Chicago, man, that would be awesome. Have I been watching the PWHL? Yeah, I have. I watched the Minnesota Boston game the other night. Don't think there was a game last night. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have watched it anyways, just because of the Blackhawks game going on. But I've been watching the PWHL. Hopefully, down the line, we see a NHL, not NHL, a Chicago PWHL team, and if so, I will try and get do coverage for that for the YouTube channel. Yeah, it's been very physical. It's been fun to watch. Also, I love the rule of, if you score a shorthanded goal, your player comes out of the box. And if I remember correctly, if you score on your power play, it remains a power play. So I will pull up the lineup for today's game for the US. On the US, in the first line, number 11, Oliver Moore. At center, Gauthier and Magrudy. And then second line, it's Howard and number 91, Frank Nazer and Gavin Brentley. Then on the third line is Perot, Smith, and Leonard. Fourth line, Finley, Nelson, and Snuggeroo. Extra forward being Kevin Hayes. No, Gavin Hayes. I don't know why I said Kevin. On the defense, first D pair, Hudson and Chelsea, and third D pair is Fortescue and Casey. And then we have Sam Renzel on the bottom D pair with I can never pronounce this guy's name. Number 28 of the US, boom. I'm not going to try and mess his name up. And then Augustine and net. Yeah, Nazer and Bedard would be fun. Maybe after the end of the NCAA season, we could maybe see Oliver Moore and Frank Nazer maybe potentially sign their ELC and come to the Blackhawks after their college seasons are up. The Hawks have a tough matchup tonight, especially since Soderblom will be in net. Granted, Soderblom had a good game the other night, but it's hard to trust Soderblom this season. We're playing the New Jersey Devils, so. Hey, Charles. Yeah, I've been seeing that too. Elliot Friedman basically said that the Blackhawks are likely to be back in the Winter Classic next season. Hopefully that's the case, because if that happens, I hope they're the host team and maybe it's back in Wrigley Field so I can go to it. No, I'm not streaming tonight's Hawks game. I wanted to stream the gold medal game, so I'm not doing 2 streams tonight. I don't think the Coyotes will make in the Winter Classic. It won't. Right now the NHL is probably thinking, let's get some money back and viewership back, and they probably want to put the Blackhawks back in the Winter Classic because the Hawks print money for the NHL, especially Connor Bedard. Last night's performance by Bedard, he was not that big of a factor in last night's game. So, honestly, it's probably one of his worst games yet. He had a few shots on net, but that's about it. He wasn't much of a factor in last night's game. He is officially the youngest NHL All-Star of all time, so that's cool to hear. It's more of the fact the Hawks don't have a roster around Bedard right now. Getting so injured. But yeah, it's the fact the Hawks are so injured, they don't have many forwards on the team, so it's kind of difficult to score anyways. We'll see what happens tonight. We've only scored 2 goals in the last few days. Yeah, I know. One of those goals last night should not have counted. That kick-in goal by Kreider, I don't understand how they counted that as a goal. Kreider's goal last night should not have counted. The refs this year have been terrible. This year, I would say it's been a lot worse than normal. I wish I could get one of those blue 1960 US jerseys they're wearing in the World Juniors, because those are the best uniforms the US wears for international play. Yeah. Yeah, that call was pretty bad. But we still managed to win the game, at least that game. Yesterday, officiating and the World Juniors game between the US and Finland, I will admit was really bad. There were a ton of missed calls both ways. And then the calls they made for penalties were really weak calls. But I still was in complete shock Finland blew the lead they had against the Czechs today, losing 8-5 when they had a 5-4 lead with a minute and 40 remaining in regulation. Make sure people realize I'm live streaming. Been hearing some news. The Hawks want to get big free agents this summer, and it confuses me. Do you know what's going on? Well, at this coming off season, I think it's smart to go after a couple bigger name free agents to kind of get the roster a little bit more filled in with some more talent. I was really hoping we could sign William Nylander, but it sounds like he's signing an extension with the Maple Leafs. If that's the case, maybe bring back Teuvo Teravainen would be a smart move. Maybe a signing of Steven Stamkos as a veteran present leader who still has offensive upside. Um, Maybe someone on the blue line would be smart. We definitely will have to sign a goalie. I would be okay if they bring back Peter Mrazek for maybe 2 years, but they do need to find a goalie. They need to find some offensive threats and make it where the team is not where they are filling in the roster. This is next year is the year you start actually getting players in better position. Keep Mrazek. He's has been a good so far, but find a backup. If they could find a goalie that can be a starter over Mrazek and they keep Mrazek, I will be okay with it. I think Soderblom might not be on the team next year. He has a cheap contract. Some team would take that in a heartbeat. But yeah, Mrazek's been solid this year. It should, yeah. They're They just showed some pregame for it, so it should get started here in a few moments. I'm on NHL Network ready for it. All right, it's go time. The U.S. gets ready to face off Team Sweden for gold medal hockey. This should be a fun matchup between the heavily favorites going into the tournament of the Team USA versus a actually strong home country advantage of Sweden. This should be a fun matchup. Hopefully Team USA does the upset on the home team and gets gold medal back into the US's hands. I wonder if I can actually hang on. I'm going to try something real quick on my phone for StreamYard and change up my score graphic where it actually has the team flags. I think that will look cooler to have the flags instead of. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know why it was glitching like that. There we go. Oh, it's not. On my phone. My phone is showing. Oh, there it is. Are the flags showing on your guys' end?